Dun, 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 dun. It's crypto night in Canada. It's anyways.
Oh, I do know. I do know.
Welcome everybody. And we got I feel like we got a full house tonight. We got Candace in the house and Ken, the freaking Oracle, and Brian, and of course Tim Perry. And we got Jason Spooner in the house. And Jason, you're right, crypto has been very disappointing the last 2 months. And Dave D is here and Journey. So welcome everybody. And for those who haven't said hi yet, hi. And let's just jump right on in. So how's everybody feeling since the Sunday night show? Because I know, Ryan, you made some definitive changes since the head and shoulder pattern appeared.
Well, I was looking at it one way in that I'm really exposed on the stock side to crypto, and then also had Bitcoin, right? So the only one I could sell off at the moment to guarantee less losses was Bitcoin. I sold every Bitcoin I own, like kind of thing, like that night. So it's all gone outside of my cashback stuff. But I figured if it goes up, I'll make a little bit less profit with my stocks. And if it goes down, I'll save all that freaking money. So it just seemed like a win-win to me, but I got rid of it all, to be honest.
Has anybody else done anything and repositioned anything since Sunday?
No, not really.
No. I mean, like, obviously, Ryan and I were talking about the head and shoulders clearly pattern there, and we dropped pretty significant after that. Once again, you got a monthly, but now just today, like if you're just doing like short-term trading, which none of us pretty much are, but now you've got like this little, and it's not a clear, but inverse head and shoulders going. And sometimes like, I know Candace isn't a fan of these, but like I like to keep it simple. And lately, I mean, I don't know, some pretty simple stuff's happening, but the micro caps, like I'm still tracking coins we've talked about for months that we don't even mention anymore. DeFiLand, Root, Kitty, all these, they barely budged with this drop. Now, sometimes though, there usually can be delayed. So I could be still wrong about that one. And they could just decide to like have like, oh shit, we dropped now, we're going to drop type moment. But we'll see. But I mean, the one good thing I really like is we keep dropping, and that dominance is either A, dropping a bit, or B, still holding it. Like today it had a little bounce, scared me because I was like, oh God, please, like this is not what I want. I still think Bitcoin looks like it wants to puke for a long time. Like it's just drank too much and it needs to puke for a long time. And that ETH and my bullish scenario is ETH and the alt still being able to pull it out. But ETH is starting to lose those key levels that I don't like to see. But, if we're looking at social analytics too, like Bitcoin is at its lowest Googleable, like, when people Google Bitcoin, it's at its lowest that's been in ages, but crypto is up. So people are typing in crypto more, ETH is still having more funding coming in, more wallets being used, everything, Bitcoin not. So it's like either we get this flippening or we go down with the Bitcoin ship, in my opinion, obviously. I'm unfortunately bearish Bitcoin, but I'm still bullish alts, so we'll see.
Well, you had mentioned in a previous show that, once the dominance of Bitcoin hits a lower, as the dominance goes down, that's when you're going to see it change, the focus change to the alts and stuff. And it's funny, I was watching someone briefly today, and they were saying, they were doing their analysis and stuff like that. And they said the last time that ETH and Bitcoin went down to like a 40% dominance or lower, that's when you saw the alts do that.
Yeah, it was literally just like to a 36%. Like that's the lowest dominance has ever been. And alts went ballistic. And therefore you see that it's a psychological, obviously, support too, right? Like everything, a lot of things is you don't even have to be a good charter to see resistances and support start building on coins. If you're following a coin for a long time, we all follow Bitcoin, you can clearly tell without, doing any patterns or anything at 53K is our resistance now. Mm-hmm. And you can also see that on the lower end of this chop, 42K is kind of like our big one. Mm-hmm. So we want to, if we break 53K and go up, because obviously the other day we got rejected hard. Like that was a hard rejection. I didn't like how hard we got rejected there. And we didn't even quite get to 53, right? So 42 is our bottom low, which we hit on that ugly December morning on Ken's show or whatever. We hit like 42. So we know that we could sweep the lows there. We don't want to lose 42, but we obviously, because we're all bulls and we want to be bullish more, we want to break 53. So anything in between that is just noise. But unfortunately, the market's just so you've got that fear index, eh? I don't know if people know. You can look at the greed and fear index, and right now it's like any slight cough that Bitcoin does, alts just react heavily to it. So the more and more we drop that dominance, the less they basically say, "F you, we don't care what you're going to do, Bitcoin." So
I was watching a really cool back and forth between a couple of traders on a live stream in the middle of the night last night. And they were talking about trading tourists. And I think in the way that they described it is perfect in that they call them trading tourists, whether it be in crypto, whether it be in stocks or whatever. And that the last 2 or 3 months has basically ended the vacation. The tourists are gone. So it really is just the bigger guys or the longer term people left at the end of the day. And I'm almost just wondering, because that stock to flow model from plan B really does keep us in a channel. We're still in the channel. It's just a lower side of the channel. Now, at least on my channel that I've built on my own, that fits actually so well with plan B's stock to flow. Says we could still go up, but we're going to be in this channel till like 2022 and a half or 3. That's at least what I have here. And then I'm just wondering if this is just like, and maybe this is a question for Candace. Are we just entering like a swing trader's total wet dream here with respect to established channel levels and bouncing off for the next little while? Or that's kind of what I'm vibing, because I'm not feeling like we're going to go down too much. I know an hour or earlier today was 47.5K. Now we're 46.5, but
Perfect. Let me show you my screen here. I've got actually my little bit of analysis here. All right. So earlier in the week, we had a descending triangle, which is right in here. We broke to the upside. So we broke up, we hit our targets on it, but then we went into this M, which also was like a head and shoulders, but not perfect. It looked good initially, but we broke down out of that, and we were expecting that. But here's what's interesting. When you look at an old pattern, this here line right here, this is a line of, well, it's now support because we broke through it. And we've also got this, which is a line of support as well. So we've got these 2 lines of support here. So there's a really good probability that we're not going to go down below 45.6.
it's literally I totally.
that's funny.
And
Exactly.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to get some bounces. We're going to be coming up. I don't think we've got the power to get past the 51, but there's definitely a chance here that if let me just pull this over to Doodle, and you guys get to see my horrible doodles. I'm going to make this a thicker line so you can actually see it. So there's a chance what we're going to be looking at is some movement sort of, in this type of motion for the next little bit. So it's going to be going up and down. So is it a swing trader's perfect dream? Yeah, there's money to be made there. And some of the people, especially people doing options, will probably be trying to play it.
That's what I was, because these levels seem so established. And I want to see what happens below 46 or around the 46 mark or whatever. But we're at 46.5 now. So
let me just get rid of that. If it does manage to break down below here, we've got another chance of support, depending on where we break down on this bottom side of our support line. And chances are, like, we know that at 42, we've got some strong support. So in around here going down. So there's a good chance that even if we manage to get down through all of this, we're then going to look at a half decent bounce back up. But really, once we get into the new year, into Q1, and we see what the institutional buyers are going to do, whether they're going to start buying and giving us that volume, that will determine if we'll have a half decent bounce or if it's just going to be a dog's breakfast for a long time.
Yeah, we just go sideways, right?
Well, I follow Dylan LeClaire. So I follow Will Clemente on Twitter and Dylan LeClaire. Both of them are Bitcoin analysts. They're on-chain analysts, actually, for Bitcoin Magazine. And they have a great Twitter following. If you go and search them, you should find them fairly easily. And I think Dylan, he's a little bit, it seems like his analysis, I understand it just slightly more than Will's, although they're pretty neck and neck. Anyways, Dylan, I was watching him today, and he was saying that there's a couple of things that have to happen now for us to see a big move up in Bitcoin. One of them is they need more clarity for the institutions to be able to put it on their balance sheet, because what happens is when they put it on their balance sheet right now, every time Bitcoin takes a big swing, they have to declare those losses on their balance sheet. Even though they haven't sold anything, they have to declare an earnings loss. And so most shareholders don't like to see earning losses on any kind of stocks. So until they get some clarity and some regulation on that, and the other one is as soon as a spot ETF, either of those two things happens.
Everything I keep hearing about the spot ETF, I was listening to Ross Gerber earlier today, and he was just saying he can't see a spot ETF coming out till 2023 at the earliest, given regulations and stuff. And this is Ross Gerber's freaking huge. He's been around the block for a minute, but I think when I heard that, it just makes me think we're definitely sideways. I can't imagine momentum coming back.
Okay. But that's okay. I'm actually okay if it stays sideways for a while.
If you look at like the bear market in 2018, I want to say, I remember we just had this painful range between 6,000 and 7,000 or 5,000 and 6,000. I can't quite recall, for like 6 months. And once it kind of like stabilized and everyone like gets comfortable with the fact that we're just ranging for a bit, then we had like a nice little alt season in between that bear market to kind of do. And that's what I think we're kind of looking for right now. We need Bitcoin to just chill for a bit, because obviously we're still reacting off that original drop like a month ago, right? Like we haven't recovered from that. But just to get into like, because I still, maintain like follow the money. Everything's psychological in the end. We can chart, we can do all this, but we also got to follow the money. Just a side note to that, Will Clement guy, really good. I follow him too, but he's only 19 years old. So let's not remember to be very careful with Twitter like Twitter people. They're just random people. And he's really picked it up. Like he's phenomenal. I will give him that. But just remember, he's just a kid. So like we don't want to follow,
right.
We followed Plan B now. And I hate saying this, but like seems like a nice guy. But he said if by the end of the year we don't hit 100,000, my stuff's invalidated. Now he's moved the goalposts.
Yeah.
So at what point do we allow these people to continue, and obviously I'm not a phenomenal, like I'm not perfect trading either. And I've definitely been wrong most of the time this year, but we can't follow these people either, especially, if you're worried about your money and your thing, but you're taking hope in what some person has said about some theory or something like that. Go with your own gut in the end. And obviously you should be better off, but I've been trying to like really break down, because I still think we're at obviously that we're like in the throats, in the hands of institutions for sure now, and big money, and retail's basically all but like vaporized. And I came across a pretty staggering thing the other day that 10,000 wallets in Bitcoin own 30% of the Bitcoin that's out there right now.
Dude, this is something I always fight with on Twitter with one of our good friends, another Bitcoin Maxi, but Bitcoin's the exact same as fiat, dude. Very select group of people own all of Bitcoin. Now they're able to sell it through bonds. They're able to create derivatives out of it. This is the beginnings of the fractional currency. This is the beginnings of it, really.
Like
Bitcoin is the exact same thing as fiat now, or they're trying to make it.
Satoshi, if they're alive, or he or she is absolutely probably furious right now and probably like figure out like a new way to like come at it. But when you look at it like this, so you look at it psychologically, because I've been talking to venture capitalists and stuff. They literally only care about like, get me 7% a year and we're good. So venture capitalists and big money are happy with this chop range. They're making money both ways, and they're making big money on small moves both ways. But for everyone like us, we're sitting here screwed because we need big moves to make the big money, because we're hoping that crypto takes us to the promised land and da-da-da-da-da. So then you look at it like that, then the only way, don't get me wrong, I still love Bitcoin for what it became and what it's given us. Mm-hmm. But in my true opinion, and don't be offended, Bitcoin maxis, but Bitcoin needs to die. The dominance needs to go down to a relative percentage, and allow all these other alts with these amazing utilities and play to earn games and farming and decentralized financing and all these novel ways to make money now need to share its share of the pie.
You know what I always find hilarious is like, especially with, and again, I'm not referencing the ones we know. The ones we know are a little bit more open-minded, but with respect to like Bitcoin maxis and the comparison to a store of value, actually, let me answer this quick. No, it's up about 60 to 70% year to date right now, Bitcoin. Synovus Energy is up 98%. So just keep that in mind for the implied volatility and risk that you're buying into Bitcoin. Returns are better on the stock market in some areas. So just keep that in mind. But sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. What were you just saying, buddy? I totally fell
Well,
off.
I mean, in regards to that, yeah, Bitcoin's up 100% for last year. But the problem is, like I said, I have no problem with Bitcoin being up 100%. The problem is it owns so much of the dominance that when it decides to go up volatile, like really fast, or down volatile really fast, all the other alts that, in my opinion, deserve more of the spotlight now. I mean, it's not 2009 anymore. We have all these amazing coins coming out with amazing tech and stuff like this. It deserves more of the share. I don't want Bitcoin to disappear because I think we should respect kind of the king that got us here. But at the same time, like, step aside and allow all the other stuff to run. And in all fairness, it'll be a much healthier market overall if the dominance can come down.
Well, dude, this is what I was going to say. The same way that Bitcoin maxis will look at gold, for instance, and totally think it's antiquated, this, that, and everything else, and yet trying to mimic the store of value that gold represents. Okay, Bitcoin will be just as irrelevant as gold. You're going to have it there in the background, and no one's going to talk about it except the boomers in 50 years. That'll be us, okay? But, like, that's it. I don't know why Bitcoin would be any more special than gold at all, given there's no physical utility to it whatsoever in a worst come, worst served scenario. But
I think the big thing about gold is you can't send it online across the world in no time and like break all the barriers.
And you can do the same thing. Like, that's what I mean is you can do anything digitally now,
but,
right?
But it doesn't have the blockchain following it. Like, I get it. Like, don't get me wrong. You know me. I'm the biggest proponent in the end of owning silver, gold, and land. That's that should be the end game of everybody, in my opinion. But it's just, between using the blockchain so you can see the distributed ledger and all that, like, it definitely has its place more for, moving money around. But yeah, no, I will give you obviously a huge nod that the store of value thing, it's definitely not a store of value like gold and never will be.
No, but I mean, if they're trying to compare it to gold, though, for instance, then it will be like gold in the back of people's minds and not at the forefront. It will be the ETH-based projects at the forefront. It's not going to be that store of value. If what they say is true, I mean, if what they're saying is true, then it will become that doomsday type material or digital whatever, and Bitcoin will be like gold, and no one will have it except for the old timers who want to store a value, and that's it. I don't see it growing outside of gold. I mean, only so much people want gold, and I feel like only so many people want Bitcoin when there's so many other opportunities out there. That's my gut. That's the
biggest issue right here, and why gold still should always be on the forefront. Like, Bitcoiners should never be hating gold, because if the world goes hell in a handshell, and they're doing simulations right now about cyber warfare and a big giant cyber attack bringing down the internet and messing up all global currencies and stuff, we're pooched. We're pooched. If we don't have some sort of, trade and barter and gold and silver and all this to like get by, we're screwed. It doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you have on the internet. So unless we obviously have Web3 and all these like decentralized, servers and satellites floating around, we're at the helm of whoever owns these satellites and stuff like this. And we've got to trust that. And obviously I don't think you should trust that. So while I'm in crypto, I panic every day that they're doing these simulations, because usually when they're doing simulations, it doesn't take long before. I mean, they were doing pandemic simulations about a year before it happened. So I don't trust it.
Well,
that's good news.
Yeah, but this is,
Well, I'll be honest with everyone. If we get that, like what I'm talking about, and we get it within the next 2 to 3 months, I'm taking big time profits this time. I'm not messing around with what I think is coming on a global scale. So many people, the chart's this, the chart's that. I don't care anymore. We have to look at so many factors right now that are coming into play.
I do know there are so many things up in the air. Like, I know that the crypto market is tied to the regular fiat market. You can't deny that. And so we repositioned a little bit today. We decided that you primarily in your TFSA, you moved to only holding dividend stuff. All his other tech.
I got rid of my Hive. I got rid of my Hut. I got rid of my Immutable. I got rid of my Voyager. I got rid of all.
Were you in profit at least?
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, okay. I just because they're down like nice.
Yeah.
And the only thing I didn't get rid of was my BTCC, but that's going to go tomorrow.
Well, I mean, even Journey sold some of his HBAR. I've sold a lot of my DeFi and Root. Like, it sounds like this is a community-oriented shift, and hopefully, like Journey said,
6 months ago, how the tides are just going to shift very slowly. Like if the market goes down, what's going to leave first? The H bar, or in my instance, Bitcoin, or what? I mean, what's going to be liquidated first? In your case, it's the crypto miners and your TFSA. It was always going to be crypto that's leaving first. And that's still the case. Like we have yet to see what lockdowns are going to do to the market after the Christmas thing is over. So that's why Q1, I said it in my video, watch, oil's going to pull back and then I'm going to dump so much on oil, it's not even funny. And there's going to be buying opportunities like crazy, but we're going to see that pullback. We're going to see crypto pull back and then just trickle on. I'm not really thinking Bitcoin's going to do anything crazy.
This is why I maintain the only bullish scenario right now, at least, which is Bitcoin dominance dropping. Because Bitcoin dominance dropping means that it's just musical chairs essentially,
right?
But the money is flowing out of Bitcoin and into alts, right? And even ETH dominance is kind of like showing its weakness too, which means we could have that strength. So, you know, like Gary just said, I've sold nothing. I'm technically not sold portfolio wise, but I've repositioned because I'm heavily bigger into, obviously, like I think Kitty with what it's going to do in January, I'm putting my bets there, but I can't sit in Kitty, DeFiLand, and Root, all those small caps, and feel comfortable about all those decisions. So I moved out of DeFiLand, out of Root. In all fairness, I've broken it down. I think I about broke even / made a bit of money because of the farming over the months, but with the prices, and luckily I sold out when DeFi was about 40 cents the other day, and now it's at 22 cents. And I got into Matic, and Matic's up, 20, whatever it is now. So I've made some good moves lately, but I'm now fully like, I got to have a really strong blue chipper that's showing a lot of promise and a lot of strength, which is my Matic, to hedge for Kitty, which it's going to be a big month. Hopefully it's got the beta coming out for the game. It's throwing out some really, I want to say bait and switch type stuff. Like they were alluding that they might be partnering with Amazon. That was their thing. I don't think that to be true. That'll be my first strike one on you shouldn't be doing that kind of marketing. I think it's probably Shopify, which is still not as bad, or Shopping.io, which is in the crypto world. But like they seem to have a lot planned. So I'm like, okay. And at these levels, because I bought a bit higher, I'd rather DCA. Well, I obviously bought much lower as well. So I want to like bring my DCA average down lower because I think I at least get 100% pump, at least 100% in January, take some profits out there, throw it back in a Matic, maybe throw it back in a Root before mainnet. So I've got a much more of a plan. Like I said, I've built a rule book now and I'm going by it because
it's funny, man, because the big like when I sold all my Bitcoin on Sunday, I was waiting for today because I put all of it essentially, Shakepay, whatever, got it to my account, put it all into Wealthsimple, and I bought way more Neptune today. So my crypto was still in crypto. I just wanted it in one part of crypto as opposed to the other. And I wasn't really thinking about it. It was the zero debt aspect why I did that. But I wasn't really thinking about the altcoin aspect of Neptune either. But now thinking twice about my decision, I'm really happy that I did that. Very happy that I did that.
We haven't changed any of our crypto holdings. But what we did to hedge ourselves is, as I said, we took our stock holdings that we'd been holding heavily in crypto projects and we repositioned to more blue chip and dividend. And you're sitting in a lot of cash because I'm sort of waiting to see what the effects of all of this Omicron variant is going to have on just life in general. And don't forget, I said that in February, the cost of food at the grocery stores is going to go up, like substantially up. So all of this, it's just going to be a timing thing, right? Like all the bills from Christmas are going to come due. It's all going to happen at once. And I've pre-warned everybody. So like after Christmas, here's a tip. After Christmas, go into the grocery store. And usually they'll have the turkeys on sale. Turkey's a great thing to be able to bake off in a pinch and be able to feed yourself for quite a while. And they'll discount it by a great amount because the vast majority of people won't buy turkey in January. It's just not a thing. So go in and when you see sales, buy a bit of extra. Buy a bit of extra. Take a page from the Nate Palmatier book. When the sales are on, buy a bit extra. You are facing higher prices come February. Hands down, I already know dairy is going to be a minimum of 10% higher. And that's on the lower milk fat content stuff. So like your skim milk is going to 10. Anything above on every time
go after the healthy people first.
no, that the healthy people are going to get the cut, and anything that's higher than 10, like skim milk, every time the milk fat content goes up, the price of the good goes up. So anyways, yeah, I'm actually not freaking out. I'm just more worried about the economy in general. That's more what I'm worried about.
Like Gary, Nate, like why is everyone dooming and glooming? I used to be I think Nancy knows this. I was always like, there's always a way out. There's positive, and there still is. I'm totally like, I'm not actually like terrified. The difference is though, you have to adapt to whatever's happening. And I'm known in circles as a conspiracy theorist, but me as a conspiracy theorist for a year before, when the minute this pandemic hit and they said it was a pandemic, I said it's not going to be 2 weeks. I literally said there's going to be a vaccine mandate thing because I had been hearing about this for years, but I was called crazy. And even my family said it's crazy. By the time it actually happens, I go, oh, remember, I told you, oh, da, da, da. And then they obviously cognitive dissonance play it off. So because I've been following that theme for so long, unfortunately, what comes after this isn't pretty. So the fact that I'm seeing it go down the checklist, like Gary said, his pantry's full, everything. Yeah, then just be prepared. It's not about dooming and glooming. It's about seeing the writing on the wall. If you think that like we're trying to be doom and glooming, I'm not. It's not about doom and glooming. It's about reality. And the reality of right now that this whole world looks fucked. You know, I'm seeing people be dicks and, like going out. I see every time I go out now, I pretty much see someone being an asshole at a grocery store or something, butting in line, thinking they're entitled. Like it just, everyone's on edge. The markets are weird. Everything's weird. It's not doom and glooming, but take care of yourself. Take care of your family.
Well,
if you think that we're just going to roses and rainbows soon, I don't know where you see it and how you see it because it's messed.
Well, and to your point, Tim, like people are on edge. Like for those that have been working through this, whoever you are has been working straight through this lockdown and the pandemic, and then every time something else happens, like you could have I've never been like a really like heavy thought person at work, but I'm telling you, the second that they started talking about restaurants going to 50% capacity, I was just like, I don't know if I can manage through this one more time. That's what went through my own head. I don't know if I can manage through this one more time, because the second that they did that, then it's like instantaneously every customer needed disposable takeout containers, and including my customers who are trying to feed now, putting residents back in rooms and trying to feed. I was just like, no. I want off this. I do not want to play this game again. I don't want to, because all that happens is you just get people yelling at you all the time. Like somehow this is our fault, and people yelling about our drivers showing up. Like it's just, they're not following the process quick enough. And I'm like, hello, we will give people rapid tests if we have the rapid test to give. But
I'm sorry, the
government can't mandate this and then expect us to turn on a dime. It's not like we're sitting with a warehouse full of rapid tests that we can instantaneously test 400 drivers every single day. Like it's not possible.
And not to mention, you could just rapid test a soft drink and come up with a positive as people, if everyone knows the truth about that. Kids were literally using, in Europe, faking their COVID test to positive so they didn't have to go to school or get out of it by dipping it in Pepsi and stuff. There's so much inadequacies. But I hate saying this, and I'm going to say it, though, because, obviously I'm, like Redbeard said, like people are fed up. Like I've been screaming from the rooftops for years, and I've been called crazy pretty much since the day I was born, so it doesn't really matter. But now it's like I walked into the laundromat the other day. So two things. I'll get this off my chest. If you are not sick and you have zero symptoms and you're waiting in line for like 4 hours for a stupid free rapid test, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm sorry. That's the first time I'm really going to kind of judge people, because other than that, it's like whatever. I don't get it. I don't get why people want to be COVID positive, even though they have no symptoms and stuff like this. I don't get it. It's nuts to me. But I go into the laundromat 2 days ago, and I got two women in there furious at each other. And I think they're like yelling at each other. It turns out just really passionate and agreeing about the same thing. I won't get into it, but the one woman has lost her baby, and she obviously knows herself, and she obviously ties it straight to being pregnant and being forced to take this you know what. You know, my mom's sitting in the grocery store the other day, little old Hubbard that lives in a cupboard kind of woman, my mom, like the cutest little lady, friendly as all can be, right? She's first in line. There's only one person behind the deli counter. And this lady behind her just goes, "Excuse me, I would like to be served." And like, you know, the lady's like, "This lady was here first," and just starts reaming out the woman and kind of like, obviously like leaves my mom out of it. But it's just like, lady, do you not see, like, where did you get this sense of entitlement? Do you not see this line? Like, I don't know what's happening with some people, but it's just like, and it's by design, in my opinion. And it's obviously they know psychology about the society probably better than people even know about
the internet. It's the internet causing it.
Well, Tim,
I think it was always there, though. You know,
it was
just exposing us.
Yeah, people didn't have a place to actually say anything. Now you got the internet. Now everybody thinks they have they're entitled to make an opinion on whatever post, and whatever they say is it's what it is.
You know what I love, man? A pandemic comes out and all of a sudden everyone's a fucking expert. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everyone's a friggin' expert talking about this, that, and the other. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, man.
They should say that for the crypto world.
We're allowed to have opinions, like everyone always has. The difference is now everyone has gotten this ego that they think that they've done enough research on this and da. And the truth is, most of it, everything in life is just a perception and an opinion. Nothing is concrete. And until you have that intelligence to be aware of that, then obviously, like, you know, I think Marcus Aurelius, you know, like, if you can prove me wrong, then I will gladly, you know, like, change. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's just like,
no, I love that quote.
Yeah, like the other day, I mean, I've told you, I got real life Twittered in real life when the guy literally was just like, "I've been listening to you all night," like interrupts my conversation at my table and like, "I've been listening to you all night and you're the most full of shit person I've ever heard." And like, dude, like I was literally talking about how airplanes fly in the air. Like, I'm sorry, man, if you've never read a book about like the Bernoulli's principle and stuff and Coanda effect, I'm sorry that you think I'm full of shit. Now, maybe it's wrong, maybe not. Who knows? Maybe we don't understand flight yet. But like the fact that he was literally calling me, like, it wasn't about COVID, it wasn't about anything. It was literally about how airplanes fly. And a dude felt that he wanted to tell me that I was full of shit about it. Well, I'm sorry you just watch football and get drunk all the time, bro. Like, that's not my freaking problem.
Yeah, but he's getting a university degree, bro.
Well, no, this man was in his 50s.
Bullshit I'm
this man was in his 50s, and obviously there's about 5 of them, and it was just me and a buddy. And obviously my buddy wanted to go El Loco on their asses. And still to this day, because I know you got to be the change that you see in this world. Now, I was not as normal as I was not as nice as I usually am. I did say, well, sir, you know, if you just minded your own business, you wouldn't be even having this problem, kind of thing, right? But like I used a couple swear words and stuff like this, but I still like tried to like mediate it. But I've always usually been the one. How many times, like Nancy knows this, Nancy worked with me, I've had so many people want to kick my ass throughout my life, and I've literally talked myself out of all these things because it's not worth it. But even me, I can feel it these days, you know?
Yeah, because we're all on a short fuse, or it feels like our fuse has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. And I love some of the comments that have been going on that you know what, I think if nothing else, there's a free exchange of ideas on this channel. And I think we always generally always part ways, at least learning something that we hadn't known before. And to your point, Tim, like I am a very opinionated person. However, I'm also a very open-minded person. So if you can present me with an argument that I can sit and contemplate for a little bit, I will change my point of view based on new information. And that's the sign of somebody that's open-minded. And I think we need to start opening our minds again instead of being so closed.
Nancy, the problem is that we don't have a choice anymore, right? Because we can be as open-minded or as close-minded as we want. But if you have to get a vaccine for your job, you don't have a choice if you're open-minded or close-minded. So your frustrations are going to start boiling over way faster than mine, really. So like, it's not going to, I bet like, we're probably going to start seeing the vaccinated start leading the charge pretty soon, because you guys are facing more of the brunt, because you guys have done the work that they asked you to do, and now you get nothing for it.
Well, listen. I got my 3rd booster today, and they said on the 4th shot the chip activates. So I'm looking forward to that.
And don't get me wrong, I don't actually believe that, but I mean, this laundromat experience. I walk in, there's the two women, the owner, and and 2 men. The 2 women, obviously, so the one woman has myocarditis, and she's about my age. And the other woman had a stillbirth like days after she got her shot. And obviously, if you do actually do your, and then she's like, do you realize that there's an excessive amount of like stillbirths now? I'm like, I actually do, because obviously they were kind of blown away. But all of these people, except me, were vaccinated. And all of them are literally just like fed up. Like, just like, this stupid, I'm not going through with this anymore. I'm done with it. Do you know that the media has been lying? I'm like, well, yes, I do. But you could see it, right? My other buddy, tinnitus. My other friend just called me the other day, 14-year-old girl of their friend has a 14-year-old girl, brain hemorrhage after the shot. Like, and I don't know if it's because I'm very vocal on my Facebook and everything that people are like seeking me out. So I'm getting more information, but I don't know anybody like, and I know people have been affected by COVID too. Like, I'm not denying it, but I personally have not heard of anyone truly that affected like long-term after having COVID. But now I've got 14-year-old buddies with their 14-year-old, their friend's 14-year-old daughter with brain hemorrhaging and shit. Like, I'm sorry, but like, that's weird.
This is a doom and gloom topic. Maybe we can move on from it. But
I was just gonna say.
I do have a crypto question for you guys.
Okay.
What's going on with Binance in Ontario?
That was very exciting.
We are allowed to use it.
As of?
Forever.
Well, you could still use it.
You can still use it. You just got to do a KYC.
You never couldn't. It was only as of December 31st that they were going to stop it.
Yeah.
So
now we can
Ken,
use it.
So
KYC
yeah,
it.
because they realize they got a big market in Ontario.
Well, hey, I can stake my theta.
yes, you can.
Because I don't have 1,000 of them or 10,000, whatever the hell you need for the theta mainnet. So
Yeah.
So I can now move everything back to Binance.
yeah, you took all that time to figure out how to freaking get it out. Now you got to move it
Yeah,
back
I
in.
vacated everything. I deleted everything Binance, and now I got like I don't even care. I haven't used it in 2 years anyway.
It's like
Yeah.
breaking up with a girlfriend for a week. I hate you. I'm out of here. And then it's like a week later. Oh, I love you. I'm back.
I know. Well, you know what? We all
is
like
good, though.
Binance. This is good news. It means that the Ontario is, or they're working with Ontario government with the regulations, and this is a good step forward. I'm looking at this as a good thing. And maybe before we jump down, yeah, exactly. Maybe if we could jump down another rabbit hole before we jump down another rabbit hole. I really want to get our update from Candace on the Metaverse, because I am literally actively following this.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. I was expecting it to pop up.
Well, Tim's sitting here covering, and I'm like, what are you doing?
There you go.
All right.
All right, drum roll, please.
All right. So this week, once again, the market's not as bad, at least in the metaverse, compared to the rest of the world. So we actually have 3 new entries on the chart this week. The first one is Mobox. Mbox, it was up 6.1%. So what is Mobox? Mobox is a free-to-play verse. So Momoverse. You get a Momo avatar, you get some Momo NFTs. Now, this blind box is super cool. So you can actually buy a box. They will send you a physical box with an actual figurine inside of it. There's a QR code on that figurine, so you can then scan the figurine into your Momoverse.
Wow.
Nice.
That's really cool. I'm very interested in that.
That is. And also, here's what's cool too, is they have 5 different games within it. So you got NFT Farmer, Blockchain Brawler, Token Master, Trade Action, and Momo Tactical Party Slayer.
There's a little something for everybody in that box.
Pretty much. Now, this game has been active. One of the NFTs, this is the record currently on the game, sold for $620,000.
Whoa.
And this one, you can buy it on Binance.
Really?
You can buy the token on Binance. Now, all the 3 new tokens this week, they're all playable right now. I just want to put that out there.
Nice.
Yeah. So
and where do you buy the blind box? Like, say I want to buy the blind box. Where would I go to get that?
You would actually go onto their website.
To Momoverse.
Yeah, there's the Momoverse has it. If you just do a Google search on Momoverse, it'll bring up their website.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get back into our top 10. So a brand new one at number 9 is called DeFiLand. DFL, they were up 9.7%. And let's learn about them. So these guys are another agriculture one. So sort of like my neighbor Alice.
Yeah.
So it's a free to play agriculture simulation game. Now, what's neat about this is when you first play, you're not earning anything. You have to grind up to get to a new tier, which is the play to earn tier. And then at that point, you're going to earn. You can craft and trade NFTs. This game just launched like in this quarter. You can buy tokens for this game on Radium, FTX, and Gate. So that's where you would get the tokens on that.
There seems to be... Oh, go ahead, Ken.
Does this one come with a free stripper pole so that you can do your grind up?
Oh,
Thanks.
my good God. Okay, but there seems to be an overlying... a lot of these ones are all about agriculture and farming. Are we noticing a trend on this, or
it's just really easy to probably develop, is my guess, because they look pretty basic. Like, not knocking them, they're making money, but just
and the thing is 2 is not a trend yet.
Well, we got Alice, this DeFiLand, and Momoverse.
Yeah, but Momoverse is not agriculture.
Oh, I thought that was one of the things on your list.
Well, they have a farming part to it. So yeah, there is a small game in there that's farming, but I don't think it's really like big agriculture simulation like this. But the third one is really cool. But before we get there, we got our friend Axie Affinity, who was at number 6 last week, fell down to number 8. So they actually had a negative 1.2% return on investment over the last week. At number 7, we have Star Atlas. They were up 10.2%. These guys are friggin' banana bread level cool. So they have an immersive metaverse based in space. You basically can interact with your spaceship. There's exploration. You can join different factions. There's an absolute booming space economy. You get rewarded for exploration. You can actually mine and sell the resources on the marketplace. I also saw something about you could actually just go and conquer people and get money that way too. So they also have
that sounds right up Ryan's alley.
Maybe. In addition to the Atlas token, there's also a Polis, which is the governance token within it. So if you earn some Polis, then you can actually be part of determining how the game develops in the future. So this one is also available on FTX, Gate, Radium, and Serum. So we got a few different places you can get this one. And once again, this is active. You can play it now. If you actually go to their website, just exploring their website is friggin' cool.
Okay.
The graphics on it are amazing. So I actually almost wanted to bring up that website on the show, but everybody just go check out their website. It's worth the experience. All right, so let's get back. So our number 10 coin last week, Radio Kaka, they had a great week. They were up 21.9%.
Wow.
So they've moved from 10 to 6. That brings us up to our number 1 coin from last week. They fell down to 5th place, DeFi Kingdoms. They fell a 0.8% on their return on investment. My neighbor Alice has also fallen 1 place. They were up a little bit, so 0.9%. Number 3, we got the Sandbox. They moved up 1 point, and they had a whopping 13.9%. The next one is Engine, who has been sitting pretty much in the same area forever. They were 2 this week, 2 last week. They had an 11.3% increase. And our new number 1 is Magic. Magic was up a whopping 59.5%. So they did really, really well. All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about the stocks. So I haven't yet had a chance to do the ROI on the stocks. I didn't get the time yet this week, but I'm hoping to get that in place for next week. That's one of my goals.
Nice.
So,
Next year, you mean?
Yeah, next year.
Get to it to next year.
Put it off till next year. Yeah, don't worry about it.
I'll put it off till next year. Absolutely. So coming in at 5, we have the Evolve Metaverse ETF. So they fell back from 4. We also have the Roundhill Ball Metaverse ETF. They are in number 4, falling back from number 3. And
Wow.
we got Microsoft here sitting at 3, and Roblox.
Yeah.
And here we go. There was an error on this, folks. That's why I was a little bit confused, because I did not populate this backwards. So this is the actual top 5, because I was looking, I'm like, wait a minute, this is all wrong. So we'll just go from here. Sorry about that. It must be just before New Year's. I will not make this mistake again this year, I promise. So, all right. So new on the list was Apple at 5, Roundhill Ball Metaverse ETF. So Meta, they're sitting at 4. Amazon fell from 1 to 3. New one on the list this week is Qualcomm. And then Microsoft just had an amazing week. They moved up to the first spot. But like I said, next week I do want to add the ROI so that we can, look a little more in depth on these. And that, my friends, is our little trip into the metaverse this week.
Candace, what do you think? So we've got Apple, Amazon, Qualcomm, which is telecom, isn't it? Aren't they telecom out of the States?
Mm-hmm.
And then Microsoft. And Jason brought up a really good point. How come Facebook's not showing up there when they're supposedly the ones bursting this bubble? I mean, what's your opinion on that? If you have one.
I have an opinion. Facebook, their own ego is their undoing. They pretty much just came in, decided, we'll just rebrand ourselves Meta. We'll claim the Metaverse. The Metaverse is, they don't even really have a Metaverse product per se. They're developing stuff. The Metaverse is already out there. It's already active. The train has already left the station. Facebook's still sitting at the station trying to figure out how they're going to run it, and they're just not going to.
But Microsoft is better positioned than Facebook right now.
Microsoft has been better, and part of it is just some of the actual architecture that Microsoft provides, back-end servers, a lot of the different things on the back end that run it. So it's not so much that they're trying to create an actual Metaverse product. They're providing the back-end support for a lot of the different parts of the Metaverse. That's where their importance is coming through.
So I have a question, Kenneth. Like your top 10 coins, how does the metric change? Like when you're like Magic is now number 1, what has caused it to be number 1? Just the percentage going up, or like what gauges?
A couple of different factors. The percentage plays I would say the percentage itself plays about a 50% role. The other factors that I sort of the other factors that I weigh it on are, first of all, what utility it has, what type of volume that the coin has actually seen, and also a little bit on the history. Like if a coin comes out of absolute nowhere and maybe jumps up 90%, but they've been absolute garbage right up to that point, then that 90% is not going to pay a very big picture. They're not going to have a huge impact on how far it moves onto the list, because a lot of times the coin that has the highest ROI doesn't necessarily make it to number 1.
Right. I was just curious because sometimes like I didn't understand how the metrics were being alluded to. But Jason Spooner did bring up something really that I totally didn't even clue into but I knew it was in the back of my head. Facebook has Oculus. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Nate just brought up that he has 10 kids. Props to you, Nate. That's incredible. But so maybe he can allude. But I went over to somewhere for Christmas this year and all the kids had Oculus.
Dude, way beyond Oculus. Have we forgotten about the community pages, like alone with the groups function? That this is no accident that they've put so much marketing and emphasis into promoting private and established groups on Facebook. And this is a well-known thing. And it just makes me think that a lot of this on the Metaverse is a lot of it's going to come down to networking and how you can associate a certain community around your own group, your own Metaverse, right? Facebook has that in an instant. They've got the virtual licenses behind a lot of their games. Done. That paperwork is already sorted out. But to say that they don't have a Metaverse, I totally appreciate it, but I'm, as someone who doesn't like Facebook, I'm just blown away Facebook's not on the list.
I think that's the thing. We all don't like Facebook, yet we all probably have. I know I have a Facebook to keep track of my little nephews and stuff. But the fact is, like, I think and this is all opinion, right? So we're shooting the shit. But like, Facebook's going to be a literally black hole that's going to suck in this metaverse, and they're going to be like the Black Mirror, right? That show where it's going to be like everyone who now on Facebook is just going to be like in a dark room by themselves.
It's just
like,
because we're failing to realize, though, the amount of data they have, even just by private community interactions, that's going to go leaps and bounds in the metaverse, so much further than the visuals and the game, whatever. The fact that they're going to know who we want to talk to and where we want to be, they're going to create the world that we want to see instantly because they have that data already, right? Yep. So much so than I think some of the others. But again, I love Candace's list. I hate Facebook too, full disclosure.
Well, if I had expanded that to a top 10, we would be seeing Facebook in there. And Facebook is probably going to move up higher as we move on. I have no doubt of that. But right now, we just haven't seen at least the price action and the excitement over Facebook. We're starting to see it, as you guys had pointed out with Oculus. So it's only a matter of time.
Have you tried? So Tim, did you try the Oculus goggles?
Yeah, I can't stand that VR. Like, I don't know how this, like, everyone's gonna be doing Metaverse. I do not like having, like, being consumed by it. And like, go up over this hill in a giant spider, and they tried to scare me. I was like, it's cool, but the
Oculus now, dude, is what the boombox was in the 80s versus an MP3. You know what I mean? So like the Oculus really have you seen the new Ray-Ban stories? Okay, like I've got sunglasses that I can have music come through. I thought that was cool. Now they have the Ray-Ban stories. I can film whatever I'm looking at. It's going to
be more. It's going to be more like It's going to be more like glasses as opposed
like safety goggles. Like
just
clear.
Yeah, that beats that. That would be a little more my liking for sure.
Yeah,
I bet you it'll be a lot like a heads-up display, like military pilots, for instance. That visual HUD that they have, it'll probably be a HUD that you have, and it'll seem like glass until you're there. You know what I mean? And then it's just, I'm excited, man.
Well, give them 10 years, and they'll just be able to beam it straight into your brain.
Yeah, well, Neuralink. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Well, there's room.
But we definitely got we got a clamoring for the everyone wants to know what's going on with Vivi and NFTs.
They do.
There's only one man who can really send us down that path.
Yeah, Mr. Neil.
How's it going? I've actually been striking out on my Vivis lately.
No,
I hit five in a row, so I was pretty lucky. So I'm not upset. But
nice,
it's really low mint the next couple days, and so I'm gonna go for it and see if I get lucky. If not, I'll keep working.
Yeah, you and Journey need to not be bragging about this, man. When me and lowly little Rye over here keeps getting skunked.
Me and him have to go to the corners of the internet to find these options to give us a shot. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And like every time, did you get one? No. And Journey's like, I got it. Neil writes me, I got 2 in the rebound. I'm like, screw all of you.
Well, that was a couple weeks ago. I haven't gotten much lately, but I always check the secondary market too. It's not just the drops for Vivi. Just figure out what you want, and I'd say always make sure you're buying stuff that you're willing to hold.
Oh, I'm all for the drop and the flip, dude.
Dude, I'm a whore. I just want something, man. Just give me something.
Yeah. Well, Genuine wants to know how many collectibles have you got now?
Ooh, I'm at least over 50. I think I've got most of the comics. That's just Vivi. Nice. And so I've been really following comics and that. I think long term they've got a lot of value, especially if you're picking them up for $10 to $12. So I'm always constantly looking, and luckily before the comics really pushed and went up in price, I picked up a few. So I'm doing pretty well on there. And then I've got a few collectibles. Like I got the Mickey from last week, and I'm going to hold on to that one until the price goes up a bit. But I've been really focused on my Wizard NFTs. I actually, pardon me, went and minted 3 more, and I actually got one. It's called Rarity Sniper. It's a website just to go and look and to see where you line up and that. And I actually minted the 103rd most rare one. So I was pretty pleased with that. They're all being staked. I'm earning rewards, and I missed out on it, but there was a New Year's Eve or a New Year's competition where you can get in and get some free prizes. There's only a certain amount of spots. So yeah, I'm that way.
Genuine owns 85 collectibles.
That's
You're what a rock star.
genuine.
And
You should.
if he's
Yeah.
picking those up at the drop in the mint, that's that's the bare bottom, right? Actually, like Ryan and Tim, if you're looking to get in, look for stuff that's being listed in the marketplace for less than what it went for on the drops.
Right.
There's actually a few that I've been looking at that are 5, 10, even $20 less than what people paid for.
Well, then message me, man. You're the one. This is where you're
Yeah.
the NFT guru, man. You got to be helping me now.
Yes,
I'll send you a
and
few.
us too.
Well, the ones on
Journey
Vivi are
owns
storm.
115.
Journey's about to start.
Yeah, Journey's up there too. So
Yeah, he's
just so everyone, like genuine, find us because like Journey, me, Neil, we're all. It's like Twitter, right? You can have your own feed. Like I can go in and like I'm buddies with Journey now and Neil on Vivi, so I can go in and see their collection.
Yeah.
So like if genuine finds us, we can all like have the same thing and talk amongst ourselves, kind of thing. But like it's cool. But like to put in this perspective again, not only like was Oculus this thing that I saw at Christmas just to see a sign of the trends, because let's face it, kids are the future and they're the ones to tap the pulse of. I like brought up because they actually kind of like crypto, and I'm like, oh, just so like they kind of asked me, and I'm like, guys, just so you know, there's like actually ways now that you guys can make money playing video games and make crypto for free. They're like, what, really? I'm like, yeah. And like, do you know what NFTs are? And they went nuts. They all know what NFTs are. 5 kids telling me that they all know what NFTs are, talking about Adidas. They knew what Bored Ape Yacht Club was, and they don't know anything else about crypto. I could mention all the coins. They had no idea. When I told them about Kitty, they went ballistic. Like when I told them about DeFi Kingdoms, they went nuts. So it's like, these are the kids that are going to grow up into this stuff, right? So seeing that, then I showed them Vivi. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, I still don't get it. I'll always maintain. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. But if it's making money, then I'm not going to be an idiot. I'm going to open my mind up and I'm going to give it a shot, right?
So other stuff that's been happening was, pardon me, there was an airdrop for OpenSea users from the OpenDAO, which is the ticker's SOS. And I went and looked. Unfortunately, I didn't qualify because I've been doing pretty much all my transactions on the Matic side. So apparently I wasn't part of it. But if you've been buying any NFTs off OpenSea off the ETH side, you would you qualify for an airdrop, which is kind of cool. And then upcoming, the 2022 roadmap for Zed is upcoming, and there's a lot of talk that they're going to do an airdrop of coins for holders. So they'll be introducing a coin that you could actually buy as opposed to just buying a horse. And there's a lot of conjecture about who's going to get it and how, and so much so it was 2 days ago someone went and bought the 43 least expensive Genesis horses off OpenSea. And just went and swept the floor in anticipation that they're going to get an airdrop for each Genesis horse. So there's a lot of things going on there. I'm really focused on the Wizard NFT, retweeting stuff, interacting, trying to win more. I'm trying to scrape together some more money to mint. I just Tim told me to follow my gut. So
have you tried selling anything yet? Just to see, not that you want to or whatever, but just this. No.
He's playing the long game.
Our values, because I've been wondering. I remember thinking this when you first told us about it. I love the idea of it. You know, I'm into this horse thing, but I wondered though, because of how you like can breed them so aggressively, it seems, and other people presumably doing the exact same thing. And now there's probably 20 times, 50 times the amount of product, I guess. Have you seen, like, are your horses worth less? Because they are.
So when I first bought in, I think I bought in right before their prices decreased. So the way I feel like I made up for it is when the prices dropped to like basically their lowest is when I grabbed the Genesis super rare coat color ones. So I made, I think, some pretty shrewd moves at that time. And there's a lot of talk that the value of the horses is going to go up as the game goes. But you saw, like, just because prices dropped, you saw people breeding way less. So they ran a tournament called the Maiden, and it was last weekend, and it was, you could only enter it if your horse had never been run before. So its first race ever was going to be in the tournament. So that stimulated a lot of breeding. But I'm kind of looking. I did win Zabo or horse, which is the most valuable one I probably have right now. Pardon me. And so that's really helped me in that sense. But yeah, the value went down pretty early after I bought. But the last few purchases, I really feel like
So basically,
I
you've
did well.
dollar cost averaged in.
Yeah, I'd see it that way. And I see Zed as a much more long term.
But
So
okay,
I'm
hold
not
on.
rushing in. I'm not rushing in to race and to breed. I do have an unnamed foal right now. I'm kind of breeding one once in a while, but I'm trying to be a little bit more selective. So now that I have a little bit more, I know I sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I have some more race data. I'm looking at which horses I want to breed with based on how they've done. Like a couple of them have actually done pretty well.
So just out of curiosity though, so because you've been in it long enough and I'm kind of waiting for all the testimonials, let's just say you sold off every horse that you didn't physically purchase. Okay. So the ones that were breeded into you or you breeded, whatever, right? Let's just say you sold off all of those. Like, is that a possibility? Are you developing profit if you decided to do that kind of thing? Like, is there an avenue to profit? I'm only asking because I know you're holding, so it's not really a gauge for me, but.
Right now, it looks like in the game, the most important thing is like results for racing. That's where the people that are going to pay top dollar are. The collectors and that I'm kind of waiting for are the super rare coat colors and that. I think that will be valuable. And there is talk in the game that there might be other traits because you have super rare coat color that other traits will be increased as the game progresses. So it's just kind of a wait and see for me right now. But if this token drop happens, and say it only happens with Genesis Horse or Genesis and Legendary, well, the vast majority of my stable is Legendary and then I have Genesis. Those are the two most. So I might be okay with this airdrop if I wanted just to liquidate that and kind of cover myself. But I really saw it as a long term, and I'm excited in it. It's just it's quite time consuming, and I think that's the part that why I haven't dug into the racing more.
But Neil,
it reminds me so much of Neopets with money. That's literally what it reminds me.
well,
of.
once again, like even if it is, I don't know what Neopets is, but at the same time, like once again, if it doesn't have to make sense to us, but if there's a market there, it's like pet rocks in the 70s, man. Someone made money, right? So it's just like sometimes you just got to go with it. Obviously, yeah, you don't want the floor to get pulled out from you. But Neil, I think just so you can stipulate or the price going down right now, though, that was more just floor price due to just NFTs kind of taking a bit of a hit lately, right? That's not because of breeding.
No, what it was is it was a combination of things. There was a lot of people breeding. You know, you could breed your male horse 3 times, and then so you could breed it with 3. Like you would be getting 3 from each male you had, and people were breeding lots, and lots of people were putting it on the market. So it just softened the market. But you did see a pretty big shift from NFT to coins. And I think you're starting to see a shift back because of the choppiness and how we're kind of, we're not going up, we're not going down. Everyone's uncertain. So I think people are coming back. And I really see there's a lot of money in this market.
I truly think too that there's, so just for other people that know, there's another horse game called Derace, and there's a coin out for it. And obviously there's a function. So I don't think Neil's far off with the fact, like I even the other day was like, okay, how much for a Genesis? Because just to put in perspective, this SOS, like I had to write Neil on Christmas Day and been like, Neil, like you need to go figure out your shit, because SOS, when it came out on Christmas Day, some people who obviously were just open sea like whores, and did so many transactions on it. One guy, now obviously this is all Twitter, who knows if they're telling the truth or not, but some guy bagged $500,000 from a free airdrop just because he was an NFT crazy guy who used OpenSea all the time. So imagine just getting $500,000 just because you were using something out of passion.
That's kind of the same allure Vivi has to it, though, with the random you get what you get kind of drop. You know what I mean? Like I remember Well, not I remember. I'm part of these Facebook groups. Also, I will say this because I was talking to Journey on the phone right after I was talking to you, Tim, actually, and he was like, "Oh, I was just talking to." Anyway, it was kind of hilarious. I was telling him though, I was on these Facebook groups for Vivi because you guys know me. If I can't get my money out, fuck it, right? So I was on these Facebook groups for Vivi, and I hate when people do this, but I had to send out a fake post just to gauge the waters. I said I had 500 gems. That's the OMI equivalent in Vivi. Like I got 500 gems. I don't want an escrow, which is an extra safety factor. They charge fees. I don't want an escrow. What I want though is 50-50. Okay. I got a YouTube channel, yada, yada, yada. So give me 250 American in Bitcoin for 500 gems. That would not make sense if I bought it physically on Vivi. That only makes sense if you catch the drops and you're banging it out, right? Anyway, I had more people respond willing to send me $250 in Bitcoin. I was on the phone with Journey right after you, Tim, talking about this. More people respond like this, trying to give me 50-50 right off the bat. So I know that on Vivi, I can get my money out like this. And I mean, probably within my Shakepay within an hour and in my bank account.
I mean, the difference is Vivi already has a coin in crypto, and that's OMI, right?
It's just inaccessible, yeah.
Yeah, and OpenSea, who knows? This isn't actually like a coin that's actually affiliated with OpenSea. OpenSea seems to be dicking around a lot of people, and they're kind of pissed. But it's the same with the rumor of MetaMask, right? Basically, there's a lot of people now who just distinctly will go find platforms that are used in crypto that don't have coins yet and start interacting with them because there's a good chance they might hit one and they're going to do a free airdrop. And obviously, if the platform's big enough, such as, like I said, this SOS wasn't even actually affiliated with OpenSea, and yet it still went absolutely bonkers with volume on Christmas. And some people like free money just because they like NFTs.
That's fun. That's really, really fun. I have a question. You ready for this? This is an inquiring minds want to know question. And it's for everybody, including the people that are watching. What color is your toothbrush?
Purple.
Black.
Black? I've never seen a black toothbrush.
Neither have I, and maybe that's why I bought it. But seriously, it's black. I don't have no clue.
Now, mind you, it took 6 years for it to get black, but
Ken, what color is your toothbrush?
An electric blue toothbrush.
Blue. Tim?
This is way too private of a question. No, I'm kidding. It's like clear, like see-through.
Oh, Neil?
I think it's purple. I got one for Christmas. I just got a new one. I'm not sure.
Oh boy.
Toothbrush.
I'll just grab one of the 5 in there, right? I go to bed after everyone else.
and
Chances are your girls are anyway, so.
P.S. This is how Facebook grabs data on us, everyone. They're going to know everything now. We're going to be like in the hot seat one day when we're all brought in for being all these rebels. Are going to be like you and your toothbrush. And
no, what they're going to do is be like, did you take a goddamn rapid test before you took your daughter's toothbrush? We saw the live stream, and you're going to be on the chair with a light, like
they turn black.
Okay.
Just an interesting fact about my toothbrush. It's made out of bamboo.
okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
I do. I like those bamboo toothbrushes. Tim and I, the reason I asked this question is Tim keeps, I don't know why, he has us well stocked with toothbrushes, but for whatever reason, they're always the same color. So every day, it's like I have to actually turn all the lights on so I can see which is mine and which is his toothbrush. So there you go. Blue, blue, blue. You have an affinity to buying blue toothbrushes.
I don't know why couples are so like sometimes bent over. Like you use my toothbrush, and it'd be like, you guys have probably done some pretty naughty things together. I'm pretty sure you can hack a toothbrush every now and then.
Fuck, dude! I had a girlfriend actually not that long ago, and I was standing there flabbergasted. Okay, I woke up in the morning and she looked at me like,
here comes a gag meter,
and I'm like, are you? Like, it almost actually, I don't know, man. For me, don't use my goddamn toothbrush. I'll tell you flat out. I was looking at her like, what mindset? Like, what? Okay, so what happened last night? What's going on? I was out of it because that's my toothbrush, dude. I don't know, man.
But you're like grossed out by cheese and stuff, is from what I hear. So this doesn't sound too far fetched.
You can kiss, so you do whatever with your girlfriend, bro. But don't
Like
Don't
I've
touch
had
the
girls
toothbrush.
literally be like, oh, like I forgot my toothbrush. Can I borrow yours? I'm like, well, I just did all these 10 different things that I'd be arrested in 50 different states for to you. So go ahead, use my toothbrush.
Oh, dude, I'll give them the toothbrush, but I'm going to throw it out.
I'll give
Like,
them
I'm
the
gonna have to get a new
toothbrush. Don't
toothbrush.
use
It is what it is.
Oh,
Like,
Ryan,
forget it.
I knew we would find
There's a spare one
something.
in the drawer for
Moving
women.
on.
No, I can whatever. Forget it. I don't know if it's two different worlds or what, man. It's just I don't even like sharing food. Like, forget it, man. I'll get you a new toothbrush. Use mine, whatever. I guess I won't do it today. Whatever. But
Oh, Ryan, I love you.
Spirit is
Anyways,
bait.
okay, so here's one more question and then we'll move on to something else. Are you a morning person or a night person?
Both.
Candace, you're both?
Yeah.
Ken?
I'm both.
Well, have you seen his streams?
But listen, I didn't say can you go all night to then wake up in the
No.
morning and start
I
again?
can stay up till 4 a.m. and still get up at 6 every day to go to work.
Oh, that would
No.
kill
Yeah,
me.
but you're the boss.
It's
That doesn't
dangerous
count.
too, but I can do it. You know, driving on 2 hours sleep.
Oh yeah.
Neil, are you a morning person or a night?
Depends if my children are around or not.
Yeah.
I'm a great person to be around when the kids aren't around. I'm full of beans.
Oh, there you go. But then reality sets in.
Mostly a morning person. I do make my spouse sick from time to time with how chipper I can be.
Oh, that's good to know. Ryan,
winter, nighttime, summer, morning.
interesting.
Switches up.
Seasonal
I got
guy,
nothing
like
to do
it.
in the morning in the middle of winter. I'll tell you straight up. I have no reason to be awake at like 8:30, pitch black. Nothing's happening. I mean, no, forget it. I'll take the opportunity.
And Tim Perry, Nighthawk?
I'm like Ken. I mean, I can do whatever if I need to be, but obviously I'm a Nighthawk through and through.
Yeah. Well, you know what? To work in the restaurant industry, and especially you as a bartender, you better damn well be a night person.
Yeah. I had an older brother who took me to parties when I was like 5 too. I think I've just been bred.
There you go. And the folks in the chat were very good about putting the color of their toothbrush, but they're not really good about morning person or a night person. But you can put it in if you'd like. So quickly as we round off the year, we sort of said what do we see and how do we feel for 2022? I wanted to talk a little bit about resolutions versus goal setting. So do you like to set goals? Or are you more, I'm resolute about something? Are you a resolution person or a goal setting person or nothing? So Candace?
Well, resolutions get me in trouble. A few years ago, I decided that my New Year's resolution would be that I would post a picture of a cat every day for the entire year. And that kept me busy for 365 days. I didn't even have a cat at the time. So I had to go out and take pictures of random cats. And I had my camera with me everywhere. So it's like if I saw a cat in somebody's yard, I was climbing the fence to get a picture of that cat. But I pulled it off. But I think when it comes to the professional world, I prefer more goals than resolutions right now, because I find resolutions, it's more of a challenge. Goals are things that you can do them as SMART goals, so you can actually measure them and you can actually use them to sort of help guide you along the way through the year.
I love it. Ken, are you a resolution guy or a goal setting kind of guy?
Goal setting, you can achieve more by setting goals.
Okay, good.
Because you can set your different levels, right?
Yep. And you
Help you get
guys,
there.
that's it. And as you think about it, when I circle back around to you, I kind of want to know if you've set any for this year, but we'll keep going. Neil, are you resolution kind of guy? I'm resolving to do this, or are you a goal setting kind of guy?
Probably neither.
Living his best life over here.
It's, I don't know. New Year's
Too much
is New Year's.
disappointment.
It's
Too much disappointment.
It's the clock ticking. So I don't know. I'm too old to care much about New Year's. I'll have goals, but they always get updated throughout the year. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure I have had resolutions in the past that failed miserably. So that's probably why I don't do them anymore.
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
took me maybe like 2 seconds to realize, okay, I'm totally gonna fail this, and I've never done a resolution like ever again. It's like, oh, I'm gonna quit smoking cigarettes. 3 days later, bro, guarantee you, I'm stressed out, puffing a cigarette. I don't know. I'm small goals, man. This is the thing. Too many people like they focus on like the top, like the end of the road, like the bright white light. But if you're not going to climb the ladder without steps 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5. So it's got to be like small goals, incremental goals. Focusing on step 100 you could be focusing on a meadow when right in front of you is a swamp, right? So it's like it has to be incremental. But yeah, I'm bad with resolutions.
Well, that's how I relate. Even like lately, talking to just half the crew here, like the community, and everyone keeps talking about what Bitcoin's going to do like throughout the whole year. I'm like, let's stop looking so far down and just look at right in front of us. You know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can only talk about how much you think Bitcoin's going to go up in 10 years so many freaking times. Like, yes, we believe in crypto, and the rest of it is history. And yeah, it's all day to day, week to week at this point. Things change.
I think Ryan's first goal for the year should be to get a new toothbrush.
No, it's like painted black. No, it's an electric black cool toothbrush.
An easy goal you
I'm
can
keeping it.
attain too.
That's it. Oh man, you guys cracked me up. So Tim, I'm taking it that you are a no resolution but goal guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved this one adage, like, take care of the minutes and the hours will take care of themselves. You know, and obviously Nancy knows me well, and Neil, like I've always been a in the moment. Things kind of like you always have something in the back of your head where you kind of want to end up, and I find if you just kind of, you know, it's like that dream board shit, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, law of attraction. It's always there. The end game's there, but how I get there doesn't matter because that fills out the way it needs to. I don't know. I'm a trust the universe kind of guy.
Dude,
Yeah.
but it's so true how things tend, you know, overthinking a situation, guaranteed you're going to fail. You are 100% going to fail when you can kind of chill out, zoom out, but then focus on step 1, step 2, forget the cloud ahead of you and everything else. It's one step at a goddamn time, and then the rest of it just falls together. Like they say, hard work pays off. It's stupid how hard it is, though, to go one step at a time.
Well,
I've
noticed too with like a lot of people, and there's different people, different strokes for different folks. I'm just saying what I generally see. A lot of people who I knew who like at 15 were like, I want to be this, I want to be this. And of course, our standard education system always like, what do you want to do? And I obviously remember being ostracized because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. I just wanted to like jump out of planes at the time and do, you know, crazy shit. So like we all move at different paces. But one of the biggest problems I've seen in this world is that everyone's like, we're always expecting, or at least society is expecting you to know exactly what you want to do and do that one thing. But I mean, then a pandemic comes along. Rye should know this. Rye was a car salesman. Pandemic comes along. He had to pivot. Some people, and this is why we're talking about this mental issue probably with a lot of people, they don't know how to pivot. And they lose all this stuff. And all of a sudden their little highway that they were just cruising along gets upended. And then they're like, what the hell do I do? So, you know, like Darwin, you know, one thing, if you actually, you know, I big on Darwin, but all, you know, the strong survive, Darwin actually like totally taken out of context. Darwin was big on, you know, those who adapt.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, I agree.
Well,
you don't have to be the biggest, the baddest, the strongest. You have to be willing to adapt to the environment that changes in front of you. You do that, pivot, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, and it was funny. The reason I bring all this up is because that was a year ago when Tim and I were driving up to the cottage, and we'd had our first Bitcoin fail, and I was feeling really kind of down about the whole darn thing, and so I said, we need a project. We need a project, and that's how, on a whim. It was literally on a whim. I woke up New Year's Day and said, let's start a YouTube channel. Like that was, if you could understand how foreign a thing that would be for him and I, like that was like, I might as well have said, we're going to climb Mount Everest this year, you and me.
Right.
We have not walked anywhere in weeks. But we're going to climb that mountain over there. Same sort of thing. To think that in 1 year, and it was all just, I mean, I look back at some of those earlier videos, it's almost borderline embarrassing. borderline embarrassing. But you're right. It was one little incremental step after another, and it blossomed into something really fun and really unique. And I dare say it'll probably pivot again next year, because what it served a
Gonna pivot for
purpose.
yeah, oh yeah. If it doesn't pivot, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. Things are going to be pivoting. I hope for you guys and everybody, because things and times are changing definitely in 2022. So
Right. So my whole point in all of this was to say that, you know, one of the things that I accomplished this year was, thank you, Tim, appreciate that. One of the things that that really helped to keep us on track was like writing a ton of stuff down. Like, this book was empty. Look how full it is. Like, those pages I have read, wrote notes, wrote more notes, wrote 1,000 things down, but I actually acted upon a bunch of that stuff. And I'm going to do a shameless plug. Honestly, I know we talk about this, but having a little something to write your stuff down. Tim and I are going to crack open our new copy of this, and I'm going to transpose some of these notes in here this weekend. And we're going to start afresh. And I'm going to rethink about what positions we've got. We just made a move, as I said today, with just rejigging a little bit of what's in our TFSA, what's in our RSP. And you know, I just highly encourage that everybody sit and take some time and think about what do they want to do for next year. But it doesn't have to be grandiose. To Tim's point of view and Ryan's point of view, it doesn't have to be grandiose. Think about it, Neil. This time last year, did you even own any cryptocurrency this time last year?
Nope.
And now you've been on a YouTube channel teaching us all about NFTs and horse racing.
he's like the Pokemaster of the horse world. This guy's running a
I
digital
don't know
horse
about that.
farm over here. It's crazy.
You know, you just
slowly getting my stride.
Right. You think about how we've all connected over. I mean, I don't know that I would have ever reconnected with Tim Perry in quite the same way. You know, sometimes you walk out of those restaurants and you don't see your people that you were connected with in the same way. Like, there's so much to be grateful for leaving 2021, and actually quite a bit to look forward to in 2022. And I'm hoping that my hope is that the data points will show that this new variant is really just nothing more than a cold, and they'll move through it really quickly, and we'll get on the other side of this and things will open back up again.
Didn't Quebec say that asymptomatic nurses could remain at work?
Yeah.
So let's just stop. Like, let's honestly for a second stop giving Omicron the credit that they think it's due, because this is crazy.
Right.
Like, this is a little bit crazy. We got the cold, ladies and gents. Every kid under the sun's going to come home with it. Okay. I'm going to get it. Listen, it's the middle of friggin' winter and the Toronto buses are keeping their windows open, like we heard last week. Let's just keep our heads on straight, but let's not let's call it the cold. This whole Omicron, I'm going to start calling it the cold, because Omicron sounds deadly, and this isn't dead. This is crazy, guys. Like, Quebec letting all the nurses, they would rather consider this. No questions asked. If you test positive for Omicron but are asymptomatic, you can keep your job, but you're unvaccinated. Holy shit. You're fired. Where's the logic
I think they're even changing that stance.
They have in Quebec and British Columbia. I'm just saying, you can see how they're backpedaling on this so fast. Even the major airlines saying, fuck this. It's getting crazy.
I think part of all of that is that they've got enough data points to support a new narrative. So moving along on this is just that I'm actually wanted to thank everybody for taking the journey with us. Tim and I, you know, we wouldn't have done as well this year if it hadn't have been for all of you and your sage advice. And I know this isn't financial advice, but we wrote a lot of stuff down and we did our own research and we looked at a lot of things. And, you know, quite frankly, had quite a bit of fun in 2021 hanging out with you and hanging out with all of you. Like, really and truly, this has been a blast, learning something that I would have never spent time to think about or learn about had we not been in that lockdown situation last January. Would have never thought to do any of this. And I'm just really really wanted to say a genuine thank you for each and every one of you that have stuck it out with us, and hope to have some more fun in 2022. See where it goes.
I totally didn't realize that this was the last show of 2021 until just now.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what the whole spiel was about until just I'm like, okay,
You
now
know,
I get it.
December
Yeah, last
29th,
show, okay.
you know.
I'm
Go
like,
back on his
totally
toothbrush.
clueless for a second. Okay, I get it. You know
Well,
what?
the
I will
New Year's
say, though,
is
too?
called March.
If I didn't meet you two though, I would think Neil's a nutbag. I would probably not know Candace whatsoever. I'd think he's crazy. I'd think Tim Perry's out to lunch. I didn't even want to touch Bitcoin with a 50-foot pole. So I'm only talking Vivi comics and NFTs and crypto, this and that, because of you guys too. So I think we owe you guys a lot too. It's awesome.
You know, that we appreciate that, Ryan. And you know what? We still think we're dumb. we look at what Candace puts together, what, you know, Ken's always researching stuff. Tim Perry, I always have to check with him. Tim, are we doing an okay job? Is this okay? Neil, I am totally wanting a horse. I'm telling you, I am going to have an NFT, whether he likes it or not. I'm going to. 2022, that's going in my little goal list in one of my books here. I'm going to get an NFT of my own. Whether it takes me 12,000 hours to get one, I'm going to get it.
I can honestly say, Nancy, if it wasn't for you and Tim, I would not have gotten back into crypto. I really would not have.
Really?
Really?
Eh? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I
Wow.
would not have.
This community.
I would have
man.
went right like you know, I went and I found Rye. If it wasn't for you guys, I'd be investing in stocks.
What?
Yeah.
And you have not won. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Because you wouldn't have had anybody on your stream that would have been talking about Bitcoin and whatnot, right?
No, in a parallel universe, we have him being like, guys, Tellus is going to pop instantly. Trust me on it. That's the parallel universe. If he didn't meet you guys, think about that. Wow, that's
Well,
wild.
thank yous. And I thank the community as well. You know, like
Thanks for having me on. I've enjoyed it. Appreciate it.
we've
Hey,
done one
When
hell of
we
a
get
show.
back
in the
on,
last
we'll
year.
continue or start this bull run because I'm forever bull.
there you go. And you know what's really interesting is that there's a lot of people out there. We might as well. I look at everybody else that doesn't understand crypto, and I think of them as muggles. I honestly want to start calling them muggles. They're muggles. They don't know what we know.
Then I think you already have decided on which NFT you're going to get, and
Is
it's
that
going
a
to be a
Harry Potter
wizard
one?
NFT. Because if you want some magic in your life, just mint it.
Ah, a wizard. Okay, Neil, offline. You and I need to figure that out because I feel like we need. I need to do that, and it's a lot of fun. To your point, like I want to have fun in our off time. Don't we want to have fun? Isn't that what life is about? Tim Perry likes to jump out of airplanes.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nancy knows me well enough to know I've had way more fun than I've pretty much taken anything serious in my life.
Anyways, well, on that lovely note,
Can I hold on?
Yes,
Can I say this
yes,
then? Just
yes.
because I'm going to shamelessly plug you guys. Genuine said very plainly and in our face, because we need that shit. Need more viewers. That's why if you're getting something out of it, hitting that like button every single time is critical. It's obviously free. Subscribing is a no-brainer. But share it on social media. Not every live stream, but if there's one that you're like, oh my God, share it on social media. Get it out there because, again, it is a lot to do with the viewers that are here that help it grow in the first place, right? So, Genuine, yeah, definitely hit that like button, buddy. But we do need more viewers, even more reason for you guys to share it wherever you want, whenever you get good content.
Hey, listen, maybe Tim and I'll start going back into the bathroom and doing our 5 minutes in the morning again about.
Can you promise me one thing? No, I want you to promise me one thing. Make 4 videos and 4 live streams in January. Just
okay.
a video a week. You
Okay.
will hit the 1,000, guys.
Is that a resolution or a goal?
Oh,
I don't give a
Tim.
shit. Make it whatever you gotta make. Make it a resolution. Make it rock solid.
Yeah, well, Tim and I contemplated. I rewatched him in the bathroom when he was doing the dad jokes one. I laughed out loud at how stupid it was, but it was actually, you have a gift. That episode where
Thank
we
God
did
this
it
is being taped.
in the bathroom where Tim was doing the dad joke where he's like, okay, here's all the things of the day. And he goes, I'm going to make a dad joke about each one of them. So he had me read them out for him. And I couldn't believe he actually came up with a dad joke for each one of those things. And I was laughing out loud watching it recently. It didn't seem funny at the time, but rewatching it, you're actually kind of funny.
This is why we're taking separate cars to the cottage this New Year's.
Anyways, so without further fanfare, thank you so much, Candace, yet again for that awesome metaverse. Ken, your insightfulness on hodling. I did watch your video too. Neil, I'm expecting great things from you in 2022. Minting wizards. There you go.
Everybody
Ryan?
needs a wizard.
Ryan, we'll have to
Everybody.
do some new fun things in 2022. And Tim Perry, mwah, love you to pieces. And everybody who watches, you guys are the bestest. And we will talk to you next year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Hit the like button on your way out, folks.
Smash